Hello, and we're back. And we were closing out part 2 again with my brother Mahaleyah, and he's about to give us some information on the 7 pillars. This was some foundational rules, guidelines,
a standard
that were established by the community, not Ben and me, but the community. Is that right?
community said.
Right.
Okay, before he was even proclaimed Messiah. So what exactly
The
is
seven
this
the
saying?
7 pillars were 7 directives that were given to us so that we can come up with strong family structures, that we would have an economic, financial concept that would work based upon the fact that we all left America, we didn't have nothing. 2 suitcases, you understand? So we came into a structure where we was very, very overcrowded. We lived as many as 23, 24 people, 25 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. I said it was so we had to have some kind of order. We had to have some kind of discipline in the midst of us having that many people using one base moose, one toilet, all washing up in the morning, getting ready to go to work, going back. We had to have an order. And so based upon that, before we even left America, they gave us these 7 standards so that we can start practicing it in our homes there. And then we'll be in the flow of it as we be absorbed in the land. Is that right? Correct?
Correct. That's correct.
So I'm going to read them off one by one so that you can understand what we agreed to do as saints that came home in the first days, when I first came. All right, it reads on this wise. 1, recognition of Yah, God, in every accomplishment and endeavor of our ascetic lifestyle or way of life based upon Hebrew fundamentalism. 2, family pride, moral structure, unity, stability, and expansion. 3, financial structure, all things in common. 4, a perpetual cycle of fasting on the 7th day of the week, the Lord's Shabbat, meditation and prayer. 5, abstention from alcohol, strong drink, smoking, consumption of nicotine, drug abuse, or any kind of habitual drugs. 6, abstention from the consumption of flesh, the blood of animals, fish, fowl, or any creatures in Yahweh's creation. Also, abstention from all animal byproducts such as milk, cheese, or eggs, etc. 7, as I read before, is prohibition of immoral sex practices and perversions, no homosexuality, adultery, whoredom, fornication, incest, or pedophilia, or anything else, etc.
Okay. That's a very good foundation. So basically, everything was set in place. But where did Ben-Ami gain his status? What happened? How did this thing evolve to a point where now we're being looked at as a cult?
Well, Ben-Ami had designated cheerleaders. I call them cheerleaders, that used to jump up and down talking about he's God. He's God in the flesh. He's God's sole representative on earth. But in the first pillar, if you read that again, Moray.
Recognition of Yah, God, in every accomplishment and endeavor of our ascetic lifestyle or way of life based upon Hebrew fundamentalism.
Now, they took Yah out of the equation and they substituted with idol worship or idolatry, which is forbidden by biblical law, and started putting Ben-Ami in everything, giving all praises and honor to Ben-Ami. And this went to his head.
But this wasn't something as far as what I remember, although I wasn't an original member of the community back in the 70s, it from what I understand, this happened gradually.
It happened gradually. What happened, he couldn't implement this. And as a matter of fact, if you look at right now, Ben-Ami has eliminated all of his princes. He has made them, all of his leaders are impotent, and they have fear. They live in the fear factor of him taking away something he gave to them, a title of a prince, a minister, a priest, a crown brother or sister. This is what, because many of these people formerly didn't have any authority, didn't know how to implement authority on anybody, inclusive of their own family. So when they came here and seen how much power and authority they had over people, some of them just got power hungry and power struck, and they started abusing the people. But what happened is, in order to keep their positions, they had to follow Ben-Ami's lead, which eventually it eroded. It went from nation building to building, as you can see, no observable change has taken place. You can see that it went into the cult worship of Ben-Ami, because a cult, what does a cult do? A cult takes its population and it instills in them, it's us against the world. And this is what Ben-Ami did. He said, he taught that it was us against the world, and that we were going to be the shining light, the path through his teachings that was going to free all mankind. But all the time, he had another plan. I believe that as after the money came and he was able to see that they really think I'm God, they didn't gave me all their money, that this is when he really changed and the tyrannical Ben-Ami came out. And from this point on, we were sold out, we were giving up, deals were made, a lot of things took place. He became more fierce with his anger, despotic, autocratic with his lust for this money. You know, and his lust became an abomination, because this was the measuring rod to see if you were in the kingdom. He even had fools around here talking about you pimping the kingdom, when they were some of the biggest pimps. And you get mad because somebody say you a pimp, but look, I'm going back to street level now, because I come out to life and I know what a pimp is. A pimp create false illusions.
That's right.
A pimp, real dedicated pimps, they take it all. Man, woman, children, welfare, they don't care about nobody. And you don't get back nothing. They don't give you nothing back. That's what pimps do.
Just adding to what you were saying on that particular question, one of the key things, when we left America, we had problems. It was only a plane ride. I mean, we carried a lot of overtones over here.
Yes.
We brought these things. Some women, the brothers over there, and my father used to always tell me, they went into the sisters over there. Most of the sisters, 90% of the sisters that came over here have been violated by the international staff before they even got here. So they came over here and married brothers, yet they had been moving and laying with the international staff already. So they had something on them. We got a secret. So here it is, a sister, she's in her family, and every time she look around, her former person is coming around, hitting on her, talking, remember now, you don't want your husband to know, you understand, about us. I'm talking about, and they had a lot of sisters up under, and brothers, whatever it was that they knew about, they knew Zerakia was gay before he came here. They knew that. So his activities here wasn't strange. They knew when they sent him out of there that he was already gay. So overtones, people had, if you was a thief, they knew you was a thief when you came over here. We were scrutinized before we came here.
That's right.
They just didn't send anybody here. Everybody was scrutinized before we were sent here. They knew your faults and they knew what wasn't your faults. When I came in, the first thing they told me, I was a priest. Because they knew my character. It wasn't that I just showed up and bingo, I'm here. They had problems here. They had murders and everything else going on over here. So they wasn't sending anybody here. We were an elect group of people, trained individuals, college. I had a degree. I had a career already laid out for me, but then the Most High called me to Jerusalem. So not a man, the Most High called me here. Just wanted to make that statement about the overtone.
It's something that's written in the books of the law where it says, if you do this, if you do that, if you follow my guidelines, that you will be blessed above all people on the face of the earth. Then I want to know, why wasn't the community overall blessed? Because the leaders caused the people to err. The leaders knew that if they were fair with the people, that we would have been blessed. But I have to say this, who are they working for? Why didn't they follow the blueprint? Why couldn't they go down? If you're supposed to use certain ingredients to make cornbread and you violate that, the bread is not going to come out. And they violated these things. That's why we don't own any buildings. We don't own any land. We don't own any rows of houses. We don't have tractors. We don't have anything. But Ben-Ami owns some diamonds that he been hoarding for years. And some gold bullion he been hoarding for years. Like we don't know about that. Talking about you ain't got a bank account. You do got a bank account. But that money and everything you got is cursed. And see how far it gets you.
And those that's with you.
It does appear as though this 40 years has been more or less a test. Because, you know, it was made plain not to worship idols. And Ben-Ami was certainly worshipped here in Israel as a Mashiach, or the Messiah to the whole world. But what's come of it?
Nothing.
The people are destitute, they're saddened, the youth are, not to say that all of our youth have fallen victim to this. There are some success stories, but that surely not enough. And the question remains is, where do we go from here?
We have some brilliant children. We have some brilliant adults. But the greatest disappointment is the potential that you cut off. Because we should have had funds for higher education. We could have came in this country, we could have had lawyers, judges, doctors, we could have had anything we wanted, engineers, we could have had anything. But the only thing that you had to offer them, Ben-Ami, you cut that deal to put our children in harm's way in the military. You did that. You didn't ask permission we didn't have no national meeting. That shows your arrogance. You knew you were supposed to come to the people, but I said before, twice, we gave you too much power. That's where we made our mistake. You should have been put in check long time ago, especially by your leaders. I'm talking about from Prince Asiel on down.
Nasi Shalig, all of them should have put
you in check. Because they brought harm on the people. We got sold out. Yeah, this was going to be continued. Because some of the things you thought even were brilliant, but you forgot your teachings, Ben-Ami. You forgot what you taught us. They say you're a gambler, but you overplayed your hand. You took a shot in the dark, and you thought that we was sitting back some pawns on the chessboard that you could just do any kind of way. And this is not out of anger, but you don't play with 35, 40 years of somebody's life and then tell them they dismissed. And you think you're going to ride off into the sunset on a white horse with your saddlebags filled up with the booty you done took from the people? That ain't about to happen.
Now we understand.
If you are Yah's representative, sole representative on earth, then we need to get another God. That's all I got to say. Because if you got the angel Gabriel, you said he appeared to you. We started hearing about this 45-second vision about 3-5 years ago. Then you've been a great disappointment to the angel Gabriel. And you got him looking bad.
We want the people to know that the sleeping giant has awakened. That we understand the errors of our ways, and we're about correcting that. But as far as the corrupt leadership in Dimona, really, I believe this is finished. Spiritually, it's over, you know. So, was there anything else that you all wanted to say?
I just wanted to speak to the saints in regards to the concept of the silent ones that's out there, or that's here in the community, that they won't raise their voice up and talk about what's happening to their own families. You understand? The families being broken apart, your children being molested, or your brother's children is being molested. We got the fatherless children next door, you understand, where the guy over there then came over to his house and messed with his wife, and now he got a fatherless child over there being raised by his brother, who think that's his child, but it ain't. I'm just talking, we know these things, but we're silent. Where is, you crying out for justice? You're not crying out. You're silent. And the worst thing that you can have in this kind of movement is a silent individual.
That's betrayal.
That's betrayal to our purpose.
And consent.
And consent to what they're doing. I said, so I just want to warn you, because you're just as much as a tear, you're an accessory to the fact. You know this stuff is going on, and you won't even stand up and protest.
And you hit a good point there. I would have to say this, that everyone that knows about these crimes of immorality, and they don't speak out openly against it, especially those in position of leadership, you are aiders and abettors and accessories to the actions of all the perverts and pedophiles that live in your community. You aiding and abetting them. You protecting them. You patronize them. You smile at them.
You see no evil. You hear no evil. You think no evil.
You accept the evil.
So, with that, I rest my case, you understand, because the silent ones hurt us more than the ones that's actually active, actually doing these things. Yeah.
I'd like to add one thing before we close, that this is the beginning of the proclaimed judgment on certain spirits, but it also says that the word of Yah shall go forth from Jerusalem, and the law shall go forth out of Zion. That's what's written. The universal laws. I'm not talking about the defined Mosaic laws, because universal laws are much more broader. And as time goes, more will be revealed, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. You're looking at 100 years sitting at this table and a lot of testimonies. With that, I rest my case. Selah.
Okay, so it's been 40 years, but we are still here. We still move on, and we continue. And we continue to bring you news coming forth from Jerusalem on the African Hebrew Israelite community, the international African Hebrew Israelite community. So we want to invite you back And so until that time, we want to say shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you.